Hello, hello again. And we are here back with Supercharge Your Manifesting Powers. We continue our discussions about why do you have to sign up for this amazing event. And I have wonderful experts from my panel, and I just want to go around and for each of them to introduce themselves and tell what they are doing. Krystalya, let's start from you.
Oh, thank you, Irina. So I am a self-empowerment guide who, back in 2002, um, had a golf ball-sized lump in my breast and didn't get any help from anybody, and I didn't trust the medical community anymore. And finally, this medical intuitive told me to start drawing images in my aura. I rolled my eyes again, right, whatever. But then I started seeing images. So I've now drawn over 500 and I share them worldwide. And they help shift the body's energy. I mean, there's a lot of processes that go with them to help people get to core beliefs and things like that that help as well. But that's kind of how I got here, the short version.
Uh,
And
yes.
I love sharing with everybody and helping people learn that we don't have to just buy into the establishment, so to speak.
I love it. Thank you so much. You're doing such amazing work in this world. Dina, how about you?
Hi, I am fine. I'm doing fantastico. I'm from Aruba. I'm a personal coach. I'm a relationship coach, and I am a sex coach. Why am I doing this? I I don't believe in divorces, even though I went through one, and I think because of not knowing what the options that I could use to change things in my relationship. That's why I went through a divorce. That's why I teach people to choose otherwise. Get yourself educated and let yourself be coached. Um, I do believe that I was born on the island because of the four languages that we speak here on the island. For me to have that superpower to guide interracial marriages, people that living on an island with so many cultures, so many differences, makes you more tolerant. That's what I wanted to share.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I love what you're doing because not so many people, we cannot come across a lot of sex coaches. And this is something that we truly, truly have to appreciate. Beautiful. Lindsay, how about
Oh,
you?
kind of thought Tracy was going to go next, but okay. Well, hi everyone. I'm very happy to be here and everybody listening and watching. I am Lynnsey. I'm a hypnotherapist. I've been doing it for about 12 years. And I love helping people just kind of realize they have a say in what their mind believes and they can choose differently if they want to. And whatever goal that they have is just a matter of getting your subconscious on board and making sure that they feel safe to do so. So I help them with all kinds of stuff. My favorite thing to help people with is their spiritual connection, their inner, as I love is it Krystalya?
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful name, but I love what you're doing as well because I love, and Adina too. Like we all kind of empower people, and I think that's so important now as ever to help people remember that they do have autonomy and they can pick sovereignty and have a say in their own life. So that's kind of, I hope I described that well, but that's what I love to do.
Yay. Thank you. Appreciate you for coming today with us and being here and just showing more how we can all
Yeah.
serve and support people. Tracy, how about you?
Well, thanks for having me. It's so great to be with wonderful ladies. My name is Tracy Rickard. I'm the owner and creator of Tracy's Total Wellness. But my clients years ago nicknamed me Lucille Ball, so I'm drinking out of her today, meets the Dalai Lama. And for me, manifesting really became a part of my own personal development and the way that I support my clients when I realized being who you uniquely are and trying not to fit in gets you into the right energetic frequency to have what you truly want. Now, I have over 20 years of experience in massage therapy, energy healing, yoga. I'm also a certified hormone health coach and a trauma-informed life coach. And so I bring all of those things to the table to help women in particular to support their well-being from the body all the way into the soul. And the biggest way that I have found in the work that I do is making your nervous system happy. And when your nervous system is happy, your body works better, your mind works better, everything's in alignment, and it's like the doorways to manifesting just begin to open up. And so wherever I start with women on their journey, from group work to retreats to one-on-one work, it's first befriending their nervous system. And for women, finding that free flow of their hormones and not worrying about how they might be dysregulated, but befriending these systems within our bodies so that we feel well, we do well, and then wellness comes into our lives.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Tracy. We appreciate you to be part of this great panel. So I was just setting the intentions for today, and I was thinking, what can we touch? Because we are going everyday live and we are talking about different topics. So just to encourage the people to come and join this beautiful, beautiful event. And one of the topics that I truly wanted to touch upon was about the fear and the failure, right? And how do we actually move forward when there are so many doubts that we have? And as I also mentioned, that manifestation is the process, right? So it's not like when we are sharing and everybody is having just the success, because a lot of people might think, okay, maybe it works for them, but not for me. So we just want to debunk all these myths and say that, hey, we are all experiencing different things. We experience success, we experience failure, and we just want to encourage everybody that everything during this process is part of it. And obviously, how do we actually take it and not getting like really frustrated or doubting ourselves to the point that we just want to quit and go back to our familiar life? And Lynnsey, I'm going to start from you.
I knew I adjusted my microphone for a reason. I got a lot to say. Really, what comes to mind when you say like failure in manifesting, or that might work for someone else but not me, like that is, I wish, if I had something that I wish someone would have told me day one of like trying to manifest or trying to get your energy aligned with something, is that we live in a day where there are so many resources for you to figure out what works, right? So what works for that lady over there may not work for me. And before, I used to think, oh, well, it just must mean that there's something wrong with me. But really, it's like, you don't have to like everything. You don't have to try everything and let it work out. I wish I would have had, or really felt like I had the freedom to say, it's okay that that doesn't work, because I still get to figure out what does work for me. Like, isn't that fun? Like, I'm on an adventure trying to figure out which technique and which practice and which work actually fits who I am, because that's when it starts to work. If we try something that isn't working for us, it's not doing the thing you think it's doing. In fact, it's probably taking you backwards, or at least letting you stand still, because it's just not your thing. And I think the ability to recognize that and make that okay was so powerful for me. And also at the same time, I really tried to make it a fun thing. Like, well, I get to try journaling. I get to try affirmations. I get to try, anything, that mirror work. That's fun. I get to try all these really beautiful ways that we've discovered, EFT and Reiki. Oh my gosh, energy work, just to help fill in that blank of like, what is it that works for me? What really lights me up to do? What makes me excited to do it? Because that's what's going to work for you. Long-term, short-term, quicker, you name it. It's the name of the game. So, for me, it would just be, what does failure mean? Does it mean you tried something and it didn't work? Because that's okay. That's not really a failure unless you want it to be. You can still try other things and it will be beautiful. And then there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
Yeah, it's gonna come to you for sure. And thanks so much for your share. And what comes to me is like, it all depends. It's all in our perspective or perception, right? Whatever we call it, because failure, we could call it as our feedback, right?
Yeah.
The same thing when somebody asked Edison and said, how could you still continue doing and discovering the light bulb when you failed 10,000 times? And he said, it wasn't the failure, it was the feedback, right?
Yeah.
If we actually just change that perception and take our journey more as an adventure, like Lynnsey mentioned, we become involved in the process and not too much attached to the outcome. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what makes that process enjoyable, because the journey itself, right? It's not just the destination, but the journey itself is very valuable, and who we become in the process. And that's exactly how.
I
Yes,
remember what it was.
yes,
My light
absolutely.
bulb went off. Just that the other failure thing for me was, because I don't see it right now. I'm the kind of person, look, I will go to the gym one time and expect a six pack. I just am that. I'm the kind of person that's like, where are my results? And when I don't see the results right away, I feel like I failed. I feel like it didn't work. I feel like it's never coming. And I just want to impress anybody that, feels like that. It just might need more time. Chill out. Go sit down and enjoy a garden somewhere. You'll be fine. Like you can enjoy it, but it is a process of patience for me too. Patience and really giving myself permission to explore, I think, are the two big things for me. Anyway, that was all.
Love it so much. Tracy, how about you?
For me, I have some similarities of what you were sharing, Lynnsey. But on my particular journey, as I mentioned, like being who we uniquely are is a process and it's an evolution. I work primarily with women, and so women are on constantly an evolution of identity, whether they're moving through motherhood into creating careers or into retirement, kids leaving and finding their wisdom. There's this constant evolution of our own identity, and to me that's our soul's work. It's continuing to open up to more. And as humans, the way our brain is built, it doesn't like change, right? So it's like, I don't like change, and change is inevitable. And so for me, and on the journey that I've worked with my clients and personally, it's finding ways to allow the change to be sacred, to allow the change to really connect to the soul level, being like, what is this actually offering my soul? So I can kind of take the human experience out of it, of this change isn't on my timeline. I didn't want to move next week. I didn't want to change jobs. I didn't want my body to start feeling crappy during that time of the day, for example. But it's like, what is that allowing my soul to grow into? And that's what I have found as I've began to just grow older, but working with women in the way that I do, it can be a choice to allow change to be intentional and to be connected to our soul's growth, versus it being something that we have to really think about and fight. We're built that way. We're humans with a brain that just sees change as a threat because we have a limbic system. There's nothing we can do about that. And how can we make it a little bit more sacred? And since I've done that, it allows change to have a sense of ease to it without thinking it's never going to happen again. Because I find like, oh, I'm riding the wave. Things are finally great in my life. Or this is happening. And you know what happens? It's like next level, next devil, right? It's like, oh, so now we're growing and we're going to grow into the next thing, whether it's the next figures of income in your business, the next stage of your life, a kid's being born, whatever it might be. Things are inevitably going to grow. And within that, there's the resistance. And so how can we make that a little bit more sacred soul work?
I love what you shared, especially Tracy, when you mentioned that, changes are inevitable, right? And it's inevitable. I say it the way I see it, right?
We get it.
But this is true. It's like, but we can actually consciously make the process easy for ourselves, right? Rather than waiting until, because the universe always is going to send us the signals, right? And if we do not pick up on these subtle signals, it's going to just, push us really strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea when we do this kind of work is just, do not wait for something like drastic happen to us. Why do we as human beings have to wait for adversity to show up in our life in order to really start changing our life, right?
'Cause that's the
Let's
first
do it
time we
now.
start listening. Before that, it's
Yep.
like, I don't have to pay attention to that. It's fine. I'm still comfortable in my uncomfortable little square. And then the messages will keep coming and they'll get louder. It's like having a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
It will get louder until you turn around and ask what the toddler wants.
Yeah, it's the whisper or the 2x4. Which one do you want?
Absolutely.
I wish I
Yay.
could say I only listen to the whispers. Don't we all?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've gotten a few 2x4s in my life, even while I'm encouraging my clients to listen to the whispers.
Totally.
So, yes, we're all human.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Dina, what are you saying on that? How do we actually face that failure and fear, and how can we encourage people to be more confident in their ability and step forward and just do manifestation?
Oh, that's a very difficult question, and I like what Lynnsey said, and I was totally in love with you, Tracy. I love what you guys doing, and a little bit in my arena, and that's the sexual energy, and that's a lot of divorces happen because of no education in sex. Okay, so that sexual energy also it's not being used to manifest what they want in their relationships. So um, I would say me myself when I was married, if I had this education, I would have manifested what I wanted using that sexual energy. So if you're listening to us now and you have something is not good in your relationship and you think, yeah, maybe I would like to go up that alley, use my sexual energy because that's my thing. You need to listen to us, listen to the come and register for this event. So I think, yeah, if it was something that I could get out of the closet, show it to everybody, hey, it works, I would have done it. We all would have done it. Okay. But
Totally.
you need to feel, see, hear how it manifests for you because we all are different. And the bottom line, you need to get to know yourself to see how the universe communicates to you. Like I think Lynnsey said that we all are different, and you need to get to know how you work.
How
And
cool
have
is
fun.
that?
I like it, Lynnsey. Have fun. And I had to learn. I had to learn that because I'm still a career woman, but I was one that was putting on the jacket, the masculine jacket, because that's what I was taught. Okay, the majority of the woman is being taught to be masculine. Okay, so I had to re um how do you say that? Get to know myself as a woman. That woman that has a lot of powers. I wasn't taught. So now I'm teaching the women because the case, yes, my majority of my clients are also women. And sometimes I say to them, we are the problem, but I don't say it up loud. Because the majority of coaches, their clients are ladies. I don't I don't I'm not saying that men are they know everything. Ladies do seek for help more often than men, and that is worldwide. So that I'm joking, but that is a problem. To get a man in your offices is almost impossible, isn't it? So that's what I wanted to say. I want to say that you need to get to know yourself. I can't add on much on what Lynnsey said and Tracy said. You need the bottom line and in every area, whether you are in sexual energy or spiritual energy or what kind of practice you are being taught, you need to get to know yourself first.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Krystalya, can you please share something from your personal story that you were experiencing that failure or setback, but it didn't stop you to go after something that you truly desired?
I'll give a really simple example, and I love what everybody here has shared. And I have to say the change part. I have a mantra that I say: change is good, change is necessary, change produces results. So it's one of the things I do regularly when I'm thinking about, oh God, I got to change another thing. But one of the stories, and it gets to the hypnosis that Lynnsey does, and I do hypnosis as well, although I don't currently work with clients with hypnosis. I've used self-hypnosis since my 20s, and I was in a bicycle accident kind of as a kid, and I hit the handlebar of the bicycle right here in my sternum. And back in the day, you didn't take your kids to the doctor right away. So after 3 or 4 days of my whining about it, my mother finally took me to the doctor, and they did x-rays, and they're like, oh yeah, you have a slight bruise there. Now, I lived in Michigan, and the doctor said, and it'll always hurt whenever it's cold or damp outside. Right. It's only the Great Lakes state. We're surrounded by lakes, right? So in my early 20s, when I started learning about hypnosis, I learned how to do self-hypnosis. And I did a quick self-hypnosis thing about not buying into that doctor's choice because statement that I had totally integrated into my body, and one session, never had a pain there since. And I've done different things like that over the years, and even with my symbols, I mean, like I said, I rolled my eyes, and yet in a 20-minute process, just a couple of weeks after she had told me to start drawing these symbols, I removed that lump, golf-ball sized lump, with one practice in 20 minutes, and it was gone. That was over 22 years ago. So, I think the biggest message I want to share with the audience is it's important to be open-minded. And I think a lot of times things don't work for people because they already decided they're not going to. Instead of saying, okay, I'm willing to be open and try this and see if it works for me. I agree, nothing's going to work for everybody. But I think the biggest challenge we have is too many people are too close-minded, and they decide it's not going to work for them.
Love it.
See how powerful we are?
Absolutely.
If you decide that it's not going to work, you are that powerful. First of all, Krystalya, I'm from Michigan, so that's interesting. Also, the first thing you learn, the first thing I learned as a hypnotherapist was doctors are anyone in authority, but especially doctors, you are the most vulnerable when you are in front of a doctor, and whatever they say to you, like they need a class on hypnosis because they need to know how powerful their words are in those moments when everybody's so vulnerable. Oh my gosh, I see it all the time. And I would say doctors and psychics, I've had so many clients come to me like, well, my psychic said that I would blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. Your subconscious went, check. Okay, that's happening. So yeah, I love everything you said. Everybody here is just amazing. I love this.
Yes. And you know what? It's interesting, Lynnsey, that you're mentioning, like how we give our power to somebody else. Right. And it just, it just shows that how much we do not trust ourselves or how much we do not know ourselves. And that's why I believe and I know that this event is going to be a breakthrough for many, many people who are going to join, because they are going to hear something they've never heard before, or they're going to connect with something that the expert is sharing. And this is something that's going to absolutely blow their mind and change their belief system, because it's all in our belief, right? Whether we believe that we can or cannot, it's actually our belief. And that's where everything stems from. And that's how we generate the results that we produce in our life. But I just wanted to say that fear and failure is part of the process. And we do not have to be afraid of that, and know that each successful person goes through the same path. It's, like a lot of people just see the tip of the iceberg, and they always think, okay, that person is successful because it just, they are lucky, because it was meant for them. They were born under a different star, right? And they automatically just disqualify themselves. But the point is, you are the highest authority to qualify or disqualify yourself, right? Because under the water of the iceberg, under that little short tip, you're going to see a lot of sweat, a lot of work, a lot of trials, a lot of tears, right? So it's everybody goes through the same. Not a single successful people. If you really start digging into everybody's personal story, not a single successful person just became successful overnight. Everybody put in the work, and that's exactly what we are here to tell. That manifestation, successful manifestation, actually having something that you truly desire, require the effort and the work, but it works when we work it.
You know
And
that
that's
saying,
exactly. Mhm.
that saying, what's the difference between a successful person and a failure? You guys know it. Somebody's got to know it. The successful person tried it again. It's like the successful person failed more and tried more. The failure stopped when they failed, or when they felt like they failed, which again, I think is like an interesting word to use. Like failure, define it, and then it'll probably be a different word for you. It's a learning experience
Absolutely.
most of the time. But yeah, I love that. I think that the difference between a failure and a successful person is that they did it again. They knew that that wasn't the end of their journey, and they just kept going. And every single one of us listening, watching here on the panel has the opportunity to do it again. Try again. You didn't fail at the light bulb. You found out 27 different ways not to make a light bulb.
Yes, absolutely. And it just, like rather than just going through the motions in life, right? And just live on the autopilot or just go by default, why don't we create our life by design? Because it makes it more fun. It makes it more adventurous, right? Because otherwise the life is kind of plain. There is no excitement. And that's exactly what we want. Because no matter how old we are, we still have that inner child that wants to play, that wants to be joyful, that wants to experience. And that's what we want to connect with on our life of this beautiful journey. And another good point is, we are stepping out of the traditional path, and we are the trailblazers. And for the pioneers like us, each one of us who's trying something new, including everybody who's listening and want to tune into that, of course, there is no certain path that was already discovered. You are that person who is going to discover your own path. Isn't it exciting? Isn't it fun? Isn't it adventurous, right? Something that you can actually bless yourself and say, I am so powerful because I've done it. I've done it no matter what everybody else was saying, no matter what I even said to myself. I was able to do it, right? So that's the beauty of it. And I just really, really want each one of you to share, why is this so important for people to join our event? And Krystalya, start from you.
Well, I think this is all of our gifts open these people up to the reality that we've all basically been, I don't like this word, but I can't think of a better word to use right now. We all, in a way, are brainwashed as children. And frankly, if we could all start teaching what we're teaching in schools, I think the kids would be way better off than they are now. So I'm not only suggesting you watch this, folks, but bring your kids to watch this too.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's powerful.
Well,
Tina's like, no.
Except for Dina.
Wait a minute.
well, except for Dina's, yes.
TVMA over here. That's funny. I love it.
But Krystalya, you touched a great point. Like, okay, the education is necessary, but nobody actually, like, how much of that education that we receive we can apply then into our life, right? Even going through the universities. Okay, some of the professions that we are studying we are gonna use, but the rest is like, okay, it's good for our well-rounded personality. However, is it gonna help me to live better life? How can I, like, that's what really gets me. It's like people are so clueless how to live the life because we were all trained how to make the living, but nobody was teaching us how to live the life. And that's exactly what we want to bring with this event, and to show you that you are in charge. Nobody is there to tell you how to live that life but yourself. You are the highest authority to decide how you want to live it, and just step up into your power and do everything what you want, because during these interviews you're gonna hear all these beautiful shares, everybody's stories, and everybody's gonna give you the tools and tips plus free gifts. I mean, guys, there is so much for you. You have nothing to lose but so much to gain. Again, it's all about just making a decision. Make a decision, boom, join, because this is 14 days of well packed information. Again, you do not have to sit in these 14 days. You will receive every day the email with two speakers, and you are going to have an hour a day during the 24 hours to listen, to consume, and really enjoy, and also claim the gifts. Everybody can find 1 hour for themselves, because if you can't dedicate yourself at least an hour a day, how are you gonna live your life to the fullest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dina, why do you think people have to join us?
Krystalya, I do love you.
Sorry about that. I knew that I shouldn't say that part.
Is it? Okay. What do you? What can I say? They have to join us because I think I want to share my own story. I always had a coach, a mentor, a teacher, a master, someone in my life. Either I hired them, I was blessed to be right beside such a such an information that the person was carrying. And I always embraced it with grace. I'm very, very grateful. So I do have my own platform with coaches, on my own, because I do believe in coaches. Just like Krystalya said, if I had a coach when I was in school, I would be better off. And I think all of us. Um, so, and how do you search for a coach? It should click. A sensation that this person, he or he can teach me something. It's a click. And the opportunity that this event provides to you, you have several coaches with options to have a click with, or to see whether if you have a click with two or three, then you can contact them easily, and you can see them beforehand, how they speak, how they interact, what they know. So I think this is marvelous way to get a coach, a mentor. Okay, that's
Love
it.
it.
Love it. Awesome. Yay. Yay. Great, great, great. Tracy, what about you? Why do you think people have to join?
I think the power of story can help somebody really decide to change and want to do something more than just a list of facts or pros and cons. When you can connect to somebody's story, you're going to have an actual emotional response to it. And that is the moment when change can be safe enough for us to embrace it and occur. All of us that are here are going to be sharing our stories, and you're not going to resonate with everyone, but the ones that you resonate with might be that exact thing you needed to hear that makes you realize, I'm not alone in this. Somebody else is going through this, and I can feel better and manifest things. And so the power of story is what can do that. And I know each of us are going to share that. And the people that come are going to hear the right thing from the right person to help them to up-level their manifesting.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. And Lynnsey, conclude that all. Why
can I
do people
top?
have to join?
How can I top all of these wonderful words of wisdom? Here's what I'll say. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're manifesting anyway. Your entire life, whether you know it or not, you're creating your reality. You are 100% successful at being exactly who you are today. Now, whether that's who you want to be tomorrow is up to you. And we are basically offering you on a silver platter the tools and tips, what works for us, guidance, questions answered at your fingertips. I just think it's a no-brainer. You have nothing to lose and potentially life change to gain in a good way. So That's all I could think of. But I think that,
Absolutely.
yeah, you're doing it anyway. You might as well be intentional.
Totally. And just check us out. Come in and just join. And if you're new to manifestation, just give yourself the chance to explore. If you've been manifesting but seen just glimpses of it, come to this event because you're going to actually supercharge your manifesting powers. And if you're a great, successful manifester, you know there is always another level for you to achieve. And that's exactly what that event is going to do for you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. If you want to tune in, join, and you'll see each of everybody of us more, and you'll hear our personal stories. You'll know our tools, and you also receive the free gift. We are given, and we are coming to you with our hearts open, and all it takes is just for you to receive it and accept it. That's exactly what we are doing here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and see you all soon.